Sima Yu, 246 AD, April 27, 283 AD, the younger brother of Emperor Sima Yan, the founder of the Western Jin dynasty. Sima Yu was exceptionally bright and had a gentle and filial nature, making him well-liked. He enjoyed the favor of his grandfather, Sima Yi, a prominent figure during the Wei Kingdom in the Three Kingdoms period. At the age of 5, Sima Yu accompanied his grandfather Sima Yi on military campaigns and was granted the title of Marquis of Chengleding after their victories. Due to his uncle Sima Shi having no heir, Sima Shi adopted Sima Yu as his son, making him his designated heir. In 255 AD, Sima Shi passed away, leaving Sima Yu, who was just 10 years old at the time, deeply saddened and moved those around him at his adoptive father's funeral. Subsequently, Sima Yu inherited the title of Marquis of Wuyang. However, since Sima Yu was still young, his biological father, Sima Zhao, inherited the power from Sima Shi and had initially expressed his intention to let Sima Yu inherit the legacy. Nonetheless, Sima Zhao eventually chose his eldest son, Sima Yan, to inherit the power he had received from Sima Shi. As an adult, Sima Yu was benevolent, well-read in history, and skilled in writing. He possessed great wisdom, keen discernment, and had a strong preference for virtuous individuals while being intolerant of the wicked. He had an outstanding appearance and was considered an exemplary young man of his time. In 265 AD, Sima Zhao passed away. At that time, Sima Yu was 20 years old and deeply grieved by his death. He even abstained from eating for several days until he was persuaded by his mother and friends to resume eating. In the same year, Sima Yan established the Western Jin dynasty, and Sima Yu was granted the title of Prince of Qi. However, Sima Yu did not immediately take control of his fiefdom but remained in the capital, Luoyang, assisting his elder brother, Sima Yan, in governing the state, earning the people's admiration. Sima Yu had military authority from a young age, and his soldiers respected him for his disciplined and just rule. The officials in his domain were appointed by the central government, as he advocated against regional lords appointing their own officials, aiming to prevent the weakening of central authority over local governance. Although his recommendations were not always accepted, he ensured that his territory's officials continued to be appointed by the central government. Sima Yu possessed strong administrative skills. Despite staying in Luoyang, he managed his territory efficiently, covering expenses for officials and soldiers through local land rents and various taxes, without requiring financial support from the central government. Whenever government officials fell ill or passed away, Sima Yu provided financial assistance to their families. In times of natural disasters causing crop failures, he offered relief and loans to the local populace and reduced taxes, allowing them to repay the arrears in prosperous years. The local people held a deep affection for Sima Yu. Sima Yu had an exceptionally keen sense of observation and judgment. He noticed Lu Yuan, a prominent Xiongnu scholar with a distinguished appearance, who came to study in Luoyang, the capital. Despite Lu Yuan's popularity among Emperor Sima Yan and the ministers, Sima Yu became suspicious of his behavior and cautioned Emperor Sima Yan, saying, "Your Majesty, if you do not remove Lu Yuan, the region where many nomadic tribes have settled will not remain stable for long." At that time, the Western Jin dynasty had just defeated the Wu kingdom and unified the realm, boasting significant strength and a formidable military. However, Sima Yu's advice was not heeded by the imperial court, and Emperor Sima Yan dismissed his concerns. Subsequently, during the reign of Emperor Hui of Jin, the realm was thrown into turmoil known as the War of the Eight Princes. In 304 AD, prompted by his clansmen, Lu Yuan rebelled and established the Han Zhao dynasty. In 310 AD, Lu Yuan passed away, and in 311 AD, the Han Zhao forces captured Luoyang, killing Emperor Huai of Jin. In 316 AD, Chang'an fell, and Emperor Min of Jin surrendered, marking the end of the Western Jin dynasty. The short-lived Western Jin dynasty had only 3 generations of emperors, lasting a mere 51 years. Sima Yu, though 10 years younger than Sima Yan, surpassed his elder brother in both talent and reputation. Their differing personalities led to constant tensions, prompting their parents to advise them to coexist peacefully. On her deathbed, their mother tearfully told Sima Yan, "Your younger brother is impulsive, and you, as the elder brother, are not kind-hearted. I worry that you cannot tolerate him. Therefore, I urge you not to forget my words." Later, Sima Yan's health deteriorated suddenly, and the crown prince was intellectually challenged, while the other princes were still young. Many officials at court hoped that Sima Yu would succeed to the throne. However, Sima Yan's favored ministers, Sun Su and Feng Tao, were concerned that Sima Yu's ascension would be detrimental to them. They sowed discord between Sima Yan and Sima Yu, telling Sima Yan that after his death, the crown prince would not be able to ascend smoothly since all the officials both inside and outside the court had pledged their loyalty to Prince of Qi. Upon his recovery, Sima Yan immediately began to attack the prominent ministers who openly supported Sima Yu and ordered Sima Yu to return to his territory. This move aimed to exclude him from the political center of Western Jin and consolidate the position of Crown Prince Sima Zhong. However, this decision met strong opposition from the government and the populace. Sima Yu himself expressed dissatisfaction and deliberately delayed his departure, hoping for a change of circumstances. Nevertheless, despite the overwhelming opposition of almost all court officials, Sima Yan persisted in his stance and even executed ministers who had protested the decision. His extreme actions deeply saddened his impulsive younger brother, Sima Yu, who fell seriously ill due to distress. The physician sent by Sima Yan claimed that Sima Yu had no illness, leading Sima Yu, who adhered to Confucian principles, to control his emotions, maintain his composure, bid farewell to Emperor Sima Yan, and leave the capital, Luoyang. Not long after, Sima Yu vomited blood and passed away, at the age of just 36. Losing Sima Yu led to uncontrollable power struggles within the Western Jin court and triggered the War of the Eight Princes within the Sima clan. When various regional Sima family kings competed for power within the central government, they engaged in mutual bloodshed. The once mighty Western Jin army, which they controlled, was eventually depleted. They then sought the assistance of fierce nomadic tribal armies, resulting in a situation akin to setting fire to their own houses. The Xiongnu people brought about the downfall of the Western Jin dynasty, expanding the war throughout the entire Central Plains region. It was the first time that the Han ethnic group lost the land left by their ancestors. The internal conflicts within the Sima clan led to a catastrophe for the entire nation. Tang dynasty's prime minister Fang Xianling commented in the Book of Jin, if Sima Yu had not died, there would not have been the later turmoil of the Eight Princes. There would also not have been the disaster of the slaughter of the Chinese people by the 5 nomadic tribes of the Xiongnu, Xianbei, Jia, Chang, and Di. Western Jin would not have met its untimely end.